Peace. This is Watch for Wise Words Media, back at y'all for another round. And I was having this debate with a couple people at work yesterday regarding the Giants' decision to bring back Daboll and Schoen. One of them said that, they shouldn't bring back Daboll. He wasn't trying to hit any parts of it, bringing back Daboll and Schoen. And then, there's also the other side of the argument that states that maybe it is fair to give Daboll and Schoen one last chance. I stand with the latter. I believe that they should have one last chance, and it's simply because nowadays we live in a society where they're quick to give you the axe, man. They're really quick to cut you off. I mean, Daboll was coach of the year his first year. Regress, yes, the second. But, this third year, it was very bad. There's no excuses to be made. There's nothing I could say to even remotely defend Brian Daboll's position. Schoen made a complete fool of himself, going on Hard Knocks and just publicly berating Saquon Barkley, and we seen what Barkley went on to do, have a historic season. He downplayed Barkley, and we got nothing out of, Tracy's okay, but he's no Saquon. And there's no surprise why Daniel Jones looked a whole lot worse without Saquon Barkley than he did with Barkley in the backfield. But with all that said, I think the one and only reason you have to give Daboll and Schoen one more shot, give them the opportunity, is because they have the safety valve. They could go straight to the safety valve and they could go say, hey, we didn't have our guy. We did not have our quarterback. Now, some will say to that, well, they decided to give Daniel Jones an extension, so that was their guy. Not necessarily. See, they were caught between a rock and a hard place. They were forced to give a guy who they didn't have complete confidence on. They didn't have complete confidence in him, and they were forced to give him an extension because Daniel Jones, he did ball out that one game. That one game led to Daniel Jones wearing a Giants jersey for 2 extra years. And that's that infamous road playoff game in Minnesota where he had 300 yards, he had 2 touchdowns, plus a victory on the road in the playoffs. So that Schoen, Daboll, their hands were tied. They had to bring him back because it would have became one of those damn if you do, damn if you don't situations. If they don't bring him back, you would have had a populace that would have been like, oh, well, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, a victory on the road in the playoffs. What more do you want? You have to bring him back. And then there's those that are like, yeah, but you saw what happened the next week in Philly. He came back down to earth and did nothing. So it would have been damn if you do, damn if you don't. So the truth is in the details. Yes, they gave him an extension, but what type of extension? They only gave him 2 years. 2 years. If they really believed in him, they would have given him 5 years. 5 years. Sign him 5 years right there on the spot. But they didn't fully believe in him. I mean, they saw something there that maybe could work, but they didn't fully believe, because if they fully believed, they would have given him more than a 2-year extension. The 2 years were to see, okay, let's see if the Minnesota game was a fluke, or is he really coming along? Is he really developing? And the way that contract was structured, they were able to get rid of Daniel Jones in 2 years, which is exactly how it played out. They gave themselves a small window to allow Daniel Jones to either prove himself or shelf himself. And shelf himself is what he did. He didn't perform. And, this time there was no excuse of, he doesn't have any weapons. He had Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors was a problem. Now, granted, Andrew Thomas was out for the year, but still, you saw enough where it's like, okay, he don't got it. He ain't it. So they let him go. But I feel now, this is the year. This is do or die. They were forced to give him Daniel Jones an extension. They gave it to him. It didn't work. Now you have to pick your guy, or you have to go out in free agency and pay your guy. And you only have 1 year to do this. And yeah, they're on the hot seat. Now this year, you can legitimately say they're on the hot seat because they always could have went to the safety valve. Like, not me. That's not my guy. I didn't draft him. That's Gettleman's guy. Gettleman loved him. But now, whoever they bring in for next season, that's your guy. That's your guy. And now you have to, at least at the bare minimum, be playing competitive football in December. Meaningful football past Thanksgiving. You have to. If not, then by all means, they're going to get cut. I'm Waz for Waz Words Media. Peace.